Welcome to this sample class for aerial yoga at Ashgrove Yoga. So I have been training with the third lockdown. I have been doing quite a lot of training, and one of the trainings that I'm doing is the 250 aerial yoga instructor. So hopefully when we do get back to normal classes, I'll be teaching aerial yoga alongside the other classes that we already do. The reason why I've chosen to do aerial yoga as well as yoga trapeze is it is actually quite a lot different. This is the hammock that we'll be using, or similar hammock that I'll be getting eventually for the studio once things are back up and running. So maybe very late this year or early into next year we'll get the hammocks in for the studio. So the hammocks there's no handles, and they're really, really wide, and they're also soft and stretchy. And the aerial yoga practice, the aerial style of aerial yoga that I'll be teaching is quite a lot like a normal yoga practice. So although the trapeze is still yoga, it's quite exercise led. It's more of an exercise program which is influenced by yoga. The postures are yoga postures, but it's more exercise based, whereas the aerial yoga that I'll be teaching will be more like your traditional yoga class, only we'll be using the hammock to support us. So some students may find this easier than, some of the poses may find it easier than traditional yoga practices because you have the support there of the hammock, especially with balancing and strength poses. And some of you may find harder, some of the poses may be harder, more challenging. So it's just a different way to practice, and the relaxation in the hammock is second to none. It's just amazing. So the other reason why I chose to do it was that we would be able to do relaxation or even meditation classes. Floating meditation classes was one idea that I had. As you know, in the one of the previous lockdown, I did the yoga, the meditation teacher training. So it was an option as well that you could have a floating meditation class, which would be just amazing. So I'm going to give you this sample class today. If you do happen to have a hammock at home, you can practice along with me. But just remember the same contraindications for yoga trapeze would be for the hammock. So, you know, your high blood pressure, heart conditions and everything else. If you've any concerns, maybe consult with a doctor before you do any inverted practice. You can do some of these poses in your trapeze if you have your trapeze as well. So coming first of all, we'll stand up and we'll get into our hammock. So we're going to come into womb pose first. So we're going to open up our hammock like so. Get the very edge of your hammock, and you're going to pop yourself in the same as you would with your trapeze. You're just bunching up just a little bit of the edge of the fabric and then popping yourself in. So making your way in whatever way you can, just pushing the fabric away with your feet. And then take one leg to one side, bunch up the fabric, And we're taking the other leg up and over. And then sitting ourselves into the middle of the fabric. So this takes a little bit of juggling around, but you'll get used to it. And then once we're there, we can stretch our legs out and then bend them back in. So you come into this seated womb pose. So this is where you would be at the beginning, maybe, of the practice. So this is where we would do our initial meditation, our opening meditation. So I'm just going to make my way back out and take a seat on the floor. So if you didn't want to come into womb pose, you can start on the floor. And if you're in your womb pose, just because you can't see me at all, and I'm in there, which is quite nice and cozy when you're in class, I'll take a seat on the floor. So whether you're in your hammock now or seated on the floor, close the eyes and just settle the body down. Bring the awareness to the breath. So lengthening and deepening the breath. Relaxing the body and just becoming present in the moment, in your practice. Forgetting all the rushing around, the busyness of the day. And bringing your awareness to the natural flow of the breath. If you want to, you can start to bring on an Ujjayi breath, inhaling, bringing that constriction into the throat, exhaling with the mouth closed once again through that slight constriction in the throat. And we'll take 3 more nice deep breaths like this. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So in our class, we might spend a little bit longer in womb pose, but for the purpose of this sample class, we won't spend too long for our opening meditation. So when you're coming out of your womb pose, sit yourself in your hammock and just take the hammock to the backs of the knees. And then take your hands to the outside of the hammock. And we're just going to fold forward here. So with your hands to the outside, you're just folding forward. And this is your child's pose in your hammock. So this can be used as a recovery pose if you feel during the class that you need a little bit of time out, a little bit of a break. We can use this pose, child's pose, in your hammock. And then sitting yourself back up and making your way out. Keep your arms through the hammock. And take the hammock so that it sits at the back of your shoulders. Walk yourself forward until you're in a nice, comfortable position. So if you feel like you're sliding too much, you can walk back a little bit or walk forward a little bit until you're comfortable there. Take your hands, interlace your fingers, and wrap them around the back of your head to support your head. Elbows out to the sides. And then we're just going to rock from side to side. So you're just going to bend, alternate knees, moving from side to side. So this is your second recovery position. This is stargazer, so looking up towards your ceiling hook. And we're just moving gently from side to side. Working with the breath. Just getting some movement into the legs, into the joints. The knees, opening up a little bit space, maybe across the shoulders, across the chest. So if at any point, especially when you're coming out of an inversion, you need to have a little bit of time out or just a little bit of recovery, stargazer is your other option. So you have your child's pose or your stargazer for your recovery poses if you need to use them at any time. So from here, we're going to come back to the center, release the hands down by the sides in a plow pose. Sorry, mountain pose. Relax the shoulders. And then from here, you're going to open the arms out to the sides, palms facing forward. And on your inhale, you're going to bend into the knees and swing yourself forward. So the sling comes to the front of your arms. And on your exhale, you're going to bend your knees and come back. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, coming back. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, coming back. Let's do twice more. And then relaxing the shoulders. Take a few breaths in your mountain pose. You might want to stretch your arms up overhead. Make the body one long line. And then release the hands down. You can take hold of your hammock just to support you and just pull yourself forward. Step to the center of your mat underneath your plumb line. So directly under the ceiling hook, underneath your hammock is your plumb line. You're going to open up your hammock and you're going to grab the bunched up hammock with both hands. And your hands are going to be shoulder distance apart. Your feet are hip distance apart. Take a nice big inhale as you lengthen the spine. As you exhale, you're going to hinge from the hips. So the hips stay in line with the ankles. And just relax forward. Take a few breaths there. You can have a bend in the knees if that feels better for you. You can have a little move from side to side. So whatever feels good for you. And then come with the arms straight forward. You might want to take a little step back.
And bring your left foot to the center of the mat. So this is going to be your standing foot. You can take a slight bend in the knee as you bring your right leg behind for warrior 3. You can straighten up that standing leg then, relax the shoulders. You can point the right toes. And looking straight down towards the floor. So not chin to chest, trying to keep the neck in one long line with the spine. Let's take a few more nice deep breaths there. Stretching out the whole body. 2 more breaths. And then release that right foot down. You can come back up for a moment. Swap the feet. So right foot in the center of the mat. And then at the same time, reaching forward with the hands, stretching back with the leg. The left leg, sorry. Deepen the breath there. Getting a stretch across the shoulders, opening into the chest, into the ribs. Take 2 more nice deep breaths. And when you're ready, slowly coming back up. So standing in your plumb line, you're going to open up your sling just a little bit, and you're going to place your right leg over. So right leg over, and you're going to open up the sling so it covers right from your groin to the back of your right knee. Taking hold then for support with both hands either side of the sling. Just let your weight sit into that and step the left foot back. From here then, you're going to bring your arms through the sling or hammock and bring your palms together at the chest. So this is a thigh wrap. So you're pressing the backs of your arms into the hammock. Close the eyes, deepen the breath. Make sure that back leg is nice and straight, coming onto the ball of the back foot. From here, we're going to twist. So you're going to take the right elbow to the outside of your left knee. So turn, twist, right elbow to the side of the left knee, and then look up towards the ceiling or towards your right elbow. Deepen the breath there. And then make your way back up. Bring your arms through. And coming back, releasing that foot. So taking the right foot out, and we'll do the other side. So you're going to bring your left leg in, cover from the back of the left knee to the groin with the fabric, and then lean into it and step the right leg back. Coming onto the ball of the right foot, your arms go through the fabric, hands to prayer at the chest. So straightening that back leg
And you can point the front foot, hands to prayer at the chest. You can close the eyes if it's comfortable. Take a few breaths there. And then coming into a twist with your thigh wrap, so you're going to take your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Palms together, pressing the palms together, opening up the chest, looking up or towards the left elbow. Deepen the breath there. And then coming back to center and slowly making your way back out. Taking that left foot out. Coming into your plumb line once again, in line with your hammock. Take both hands through. So flying locust. So you take your hammock in front of your hips. You walk forward until it catches. So it's lower abdomen, front of the hips. Walk forward until it catches. Take your arms up, thumbs facing down. Release your feet. Legs together. Squeeze your glutes. Look forward. Opening the chest. Strengthening through the spine, opening the ribs, the glutes. That is quite fun. It's a little bit like angel pose in our trapeze. When you're ready then, feet to the floor. Keep your arms through your hammock, feet hip distance apart, and we're going to fold forward into our down dog. So you're just going to walk your feet back, hands forward, until you come into a down dog position. So for some, with this one, your heels might be lifted. You may be barely tipping the floor with the fingers or the feet, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got the hips rising nice and high. Take a few more nice deep breaths there. And then we're going to come into three-legged dog. So for three-legged dog, ground down your left foot, lift your right leg up and wrap that right leg around your sling, sliding it up around the hammock, sliding it up. And deepen the breath there. And then releasing that foot down. We'll go for the other side. So ground down your right foot, lift your left leg up, wrap it around, slide it up. Three-legged dog. And then release that foot down. Walk your feet forward, hands towards your feet until you feel stable enough to make your way back up. So from here, we're going to come into our inversion now. So into our inverted frog is what it's called in aerial yoga. So we're coming with the sling behind us, and the sling stays bunched up. You walk yourself back, so it's just below the lower back, across the hips,
And then you walk yourself back until it catches, lean back, and then walk forward. And as you walk forward, you lift your feet up, knees can stay bent, and you're just going to wrap your legs, double crossing them around the fabric, and release your head down. So you can take your hands to prayer here, release them to the floor. Take a little twist, moving from side to side. Taking nice deep breaths here. Getting that length into the spine. Okay, and then from here, we're going to come into half pigeon pose. So for half pigeon pose, take your right leg wide, point the toe. And the same with the left, you can take it in front of the sling, point the toe. Release the hands down for your half pigeon pose. And then for full pigeon pose on the right side, release that right leg back, and you can take hold of the foot if it's comfortable for you. You can take the hands to the floor and just let that leg drop back. So if you can't reach the foot, you can just relax that leg back and reach the hands down or hands to the floor. And then we'll bring that leg back up. We'll do that on the other side. So we'll take the left leg out wide for half pigeon. We'll take it behind us for full pigeon and take hold of the foot. And then we'll take that leg wide, and we'll take the other leg wide. Just bring the legs forward a little bit and come into saddle pose. Nice wide legs. And sending the thighs forward just a little, tilting the pelvis to keep you there. And from here, we'll take to bow pose. So just use your hands on your sling for support or your hammock for support. Release both feet back. Find your balance. If you feel comfortable, you can release and take hold of one foot, the other foot, or if you feel that balance, you might need to wiggle into it a little bit. You can take hold of both feet. So just finding that balancing point, taking hold of both feet. From here, take hold of the hammock. Bring the legs back up, and then slowly walk our hands up. Bring the legs to the floor. Walk yourself back, and we'll come into our recovery pose straight away for our stargazer. And just rock from side to side. You can take the hands behind the head, elbows out to the sides. And give yourself a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, pull yourself up. Coming with your hands through the hammock, under your plumb line. And we're just going to fold forward over the hammock just to counteract those nice deep back bends. So we're just folding forward over the fabric. And take the hands to the floor, to to the shins, to the backs of the legs, wherever is comfortable. Bend into the knees. That feels good for you. And then when you feel ready, just slowly gonna come up. Nice and slowly rolling up through the spine. Coming up. And from here, we'll come out of the hammock. And we're gonna open it up again, and we're gonna place the heel of the back of the ankle of the right foot into the hammock here for a hamstring stretch. So just make sure your left toes are pointing straight forward. And for you, this may be enough, this might be enough. You might feel enough of a stretch here on the back of your right hamstring. But if you want to take it a little bit further, you're just relaxing forward. You're going to take your both hands through and open out. Relax forward. Deepen the breath. And then making your way up, leaving that right foot where it is, though we're just going to turn to face the left side of your mat. So turn your left toes to face the long end of the mat. And from here, we're just going to have a stretch into the abductors here. So you're just going to take hold of your sling with your right hand. You're going to bring your left hand up and over and take hold of the fabric of the hammock there. And then just lean over so that you get a nice stretch. But try not to turn. So try and keep the body facing towards the long end of the mat. Deepen the breath there. And then slowly make your way back up. And we'll swap the legs. So we'll bring the left foot in. So facing the short end of the mat first, underneath your left ankle, the back of your left ankle. And we're starting off here, nice and tall. Hands on the hammock for support. Right toes pointing straight forward. And we're either staying there or we're going to bring the hands through, open up and lean forward. And then slowly coming back up. You're going to have your left hand on the hammock. Turn and face the right side of your mat, the long end of the mat. So your right toes are now turned to face the long end of the mat. And we're going to lean, taking the right hand up and over, leaning into that, making sure the hips stay pointing towards the right end, the long end of the mat. And slowly coming back out. Take that foot out. We're going to make our way now down onto the mat. And we're going to come into our plank. So we're going to put one foot in the hammock. Spread your fingers nice and wide, wrists underneath your shoulders. We're going to lift up and then put the other foot into the hammock. And we're going to hold there. So wrists underneath your shoulders, push the floor away. Round the spine slightly, so round the upper body slightly. Across the shoulders. And we're going to hold there. Lift the hips slightly for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take the left foot out. Just rest the knee down on the floor and just stretch back into that leg. Take a few breaths there. So getting ready for some plank crunches. So lift up, both feet back into the hammock. And we're going to inhale in a straight line for plank. Exhale, knees into the chest to crunch. Inhale, straight line. Exhale, nice and slowly, knees into the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do twice more. And then from here, release the right knee. Relax it down. You can even come down onto the elbows for a few breaths. Just give those arms a little bit of a rest. And then coming back up. So wrists underneath your shoulders, getting ready, lifting back up into your plank. So both legs into the hammock, coming into pike pose now. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, lift the hips into pike pose. So drawing the legs towards you, keeping the legs straight. And then inhale, straighten. Exhale, coming up into pike. Inhale, straighten. Exhale as you come up. Twice more. And then straighten. Take one leg out. Take the other leg out. Take a child's pose. Have a few breaths. And when you're ready, roll over onto your back. And lying down on your back, putting both feet into your hammock. Turn your toes out. Relax the body. Palms facing up. Chin lightly tucked into the chest. Take a few breaths there. When you're ready, place your hands flat on the floor. So your hands are either side of your hips, palms facing down. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, just lift the hips up. Draw the shoulder blades together. Deepen the breath there. Squeeze the glutes. Make sure the shoulders stay grounded on the floor. Press the backs of the ankles, your Achilles into the hammock beneath. On your next inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale slowly, lowering down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale slowly, lowering down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, slowly lowering it down. 2 more. And slowly lower it down. Relax there for a moment. And then leaving the left leg where it is, unhook the right leg, the right foot, and bring that leg towards you. And take your hands, take hold behind the back of the thigh. So try not to lift the buttocks off the floor. Keep the lower back grounded. And just give that right leg a stretch up towards the ceiling. You could flex the foot, you could point the toe there. Good. Go backwards and forwards. Maybe a few little circles. And then on your next exhale, we're going to lift up and bring our nose towards the leg. So nice big inhale. As you exhale, lift your chest up. Bring your leg a little bit towards you, so maybe guiding it with your hands at the back of the calf. And bring your nose towards your leg. So try not to lift up again. Try and keep the lower back grounded. And then slowly releasing that down, keeping that leg up towards the ceiling. Take your right hand to the inside of the leg. Ground down your left side with your left hand and just open that right leg out towards the right. And then take the right hand to the outside of the right leg. Bring that right leg back up on your inhale and take it over a little bit towards the left on your exhale, keeping your buttocks grounded. And then take your arms out to letter T and take that into a twist. So maybe bend into that right knee and twist the spine a little bit, but keeping the shoulders grounded. You can just rest that foot on the left leg, or you can just let it hang over. And then come back up, and we're going to swap the feet. So put the left leg in, you're turning the foot out to hook it in. Sorry, the right leg. Bring the left leg out. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, bring that leg towards you and take the hands behind the thigh. So you can point and flex again if that felt good on the other side. You can do little circles. You can stretch it up a little bit more, straighten the leg a little. Remember to keep the lower back, sacrum down on the floor. And then if you want to take it a little further, you can lift the chest And bring the leg supported at the back of the calf towards the nose. Release the shoulders back down. Take your left hand to the inside of that leg. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, open it out to the left. Keep that right hip down. And then take the left hand to the back of the left leg, keeping the right side grounded with that right hand. Lift that left leg back up. Take it across just a little until you feel a stretch. You can always bring the leg towards you a little more if you want to feel a little more. And then take your arms out, letter T, nice big inhale. As you exhale, twist into it a little more, maybe bending into that left knee, maybe just tapping or holding the heel onto that right leg, keeping both shoulders grounded, maybe looking towards the left. And then making your way back to center. Take a few breaths there once more, palms facing up. And then we'll take our feet out. We'll make our way up. So use your hand to support you. Getting ready for our relaxation. So relaxation in the hammock. Open the hammock all the way up. Give it a good shake. Take hold of the edge of the fabric and just bunch it up a couple of times. Walk back, sit yourself in, so lift yourself up. Sit yourself in. And then wiggle your way back. So what you want to do is just put your heels onto the edge of the fabric here and just push away so that the fabric covers your feet, and then stretch your arms out so that the fabric covers your arms. And from here, we're just going to bend from side to side, getting into our side body. And then we're going to turn onto our right side. So if you can work it out, you're just going to walk your way onto your right side. You're going to nice big inhale as you keep nice and long, and then exhale, just fold in on yourself. Keep the legs straight. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, fold in. Inhale, straighten. Exhale as you fold in. Come back to center, so wiggle your way back onto your back and then onto your left side. Inhale as you straighten, exhale as you fold in. Inhale, straighten, exhale, fold in. Once more, inhale, straighten, exhale, fold in. So come back to lying on your back. And you can take your arms then down by your sides, I'll cross them over your chest, so opposite hands on opposite shoulders. Close the eyes. Bring the awareness to the breath. Allowing the body to completely settle. Absorbing all the work that you've been doing. So if you're practicing with me, then allow yourself a longer relaxation here. But for the purposes of this sample class will move on. So we're just going to roll on. So I just want to show you one more pose, which is really, really lovely on this, which is like a fetal position. So roll onto your right side and then curl yourself up in a ball. So how you would normally sleep in your fetal position, you can curl yourself up and feel completely supported by the hammock. So the lovely thing about these hammocks are they are slightly see-through. So it's really nice stretchy fabric, but they're slightly see-through. So you feel like you're completely cocooned, but at the same time you're not claustrophobic, you're not completely locked out. So you can still see light through the fabric. So when you're ready, we'll come back to lying on the back and we just roll the fabric underneath us so the feet come out. And then we'll just bring our arms to the outside. We'll hold the edges of fabric. Make our way up. Make our way out. Namaste. So thank you for joining me. So as you can see, it's similar. There's similarities to the trapeze. There's similarities to, obviously, to yoga, but it's a lot more chilled, I think, than the trapeze. And it's just a gentle, really nourishing practice. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and take care. See you soon.